Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. You are welcome to my channel. So for today, I'm making a simple video on how to cut a 6 pieces skirt. Now, what are the basic measurements you need for a 6 pieces skirt? You need your waist measurements, your hip measurements, and your skirt length. So I'm going to show you guys with this illustration. I'm going to explain how you are going to cut your 6 pieces skirt. Okay, so this is the front panel and this is the back panel. So this front panel we have 3 joining, and for the back panel we have 3. These dotted lines represents where we are going to have a zipper at the back. That was why I use these dotted lines to illustrate where we are going to have a zipper. Now, so for the waist measurement, note that in 6 pieces skirt, you have to divide your measurement by 6. So we have 30 divided by 6, we have 5. 36 divided by 6, we have 6 inches. And for our skirt length, we have 30. So 30 plus 2 inches for your allowance, we have 32. Note that because this skirt is going to have a band, if you are going to make use of 2 inches band, you are going to minus your 2 inches. You are going to minus your 2 inches. Then you take your measurement from this point down. Okay, so from this point down is where I have my 30 inches. So if I'm going to add this band, it's going to give me a total of 32 inches. So for this front panel, in a 6 pieces skirt, we are going to start from the front panel. Okay, now from this front panel, note that the middle one, this is the middle one is always smaller. Why? Because you are not going to add your sewing allowance to it. You are not going to add your sewing allowance to it. You are only going to add 1 inch for your joining allowance, because you are going to join this middle panel to the 2 sides. Why the 2 sides are going to have your sewing allowance, so that at the end, when you are done making the fabric, when you are done making the skirt, you are going to have sewing allowance for any adjustment. Okay, so I'm going to label this illustration so you could understand it more better. So this front panel is 1. This is the first one you are going to cut, the front panel, because it's the smallest, and that's where you are going to start from. Now, after this front panel, the difference between this the middle panel at the front and the middle panel at the back is simply the zip allowance. The difference between the middle panel at the front and the middle panel at the back is the zip allowance. So when you are done with this front, you are going to use the middle panel of the front to cut the middle panel at the back, leaving your 2 inches zip allowance. So I'm going to label this number 2. I'm going to label this number 2. Now, the remaining 2 sides for both the front panel and the back panel are equal. So we are going to cut it together. Okay? The remaining 2 sides for both the front panel and the back panel are equal. So we are going to cut it together. So I'll label it 3, 3, 3, 3. So we are going to cut it, the front panel, the middle for the front panel first, the middle for the back panel second, and the 2 sides third. Okay, so now let's move to the fabric. So the first thing I have to do, this is my middle panel. This is number 1. Don't forget we're starting from number 1. This is the middle panel for the front. Now we are going to fold it into 2. Don't forget that we said our waist measurement was 5 inches. Our waist measurement is 5 inches. And for the middle panel, we are going to add just 1 inch allowance to join the both sides together. That is 6. From the waist to the hip, I explained that in my previous video on how to take your body measurements. We have 6 inches plus 1 inch. Don't forget. Now let me join the lines together. Let me join the lines together. So for you to determine how wide you want the panel to be, depend on the amount of fabric you are working with. Now, for you to know the amount of fabric you are working with, you simply multiply your hip measurement by 3. So if your hip measurement is 36, you multiply by 3, you get the total number of fabric you have to work with. But note that for the down panel, the minimum you are going to add is 8 inches. It could be 8 inches, it could be 10 inches, depending on how full you want the 6 pieces skirt to be. Now, my measurements from my waist to my knee is 17 inches. Waist to knee is 17 inches. So I'm going to draw a straight line. Now, our hip measurement was 6 inches. Our hip measurement was 6 inches. I'm going to bring down this 6 inches here. This is the 6 inches plus the 1 inch joining allowance. So I'll connect my lines together. Now, for you to know how wide this panel is going to be, I told you can add from 8 inches, 10 inches, depend on how full you want it to be. But because I'm using my pattern paper, so I'm just going to draw a line. I'm just going to draw a line. So my skirt length is 32 inches. That was my 32 inches already. So for the front panel, note that for the front panel, I folded it. This is the front panel, okay? Now, if this is the front panel, if you fold the front panel into two, you are not to take your exact measurements. If you fold your front panel into two, you are not to take your exact measurements. Why? This is a mistake a lot of beginners tend to make. If you take this your exact measurements, by the time you open it, you are going to have 10 inches. So you have to divide the front panel by 2. You have to divide the front panel by 2. Note, don't make this mistake. You have to divide the front panel by 2. But we are going to use this. We are going to use this to cut other panel. So my front panel, our measurement was 5 inches divided by 2. We have 2.5 inches plus 1 inch joining allowance. We have 3.5 inches. For the hip, we have 3 inches plus 1 inch. We have 4 inches. I hope you are getting this. So we have 4 inches. I'm going to bring down these 4 inches at this point. I'm going to bring down these 4 inches at this point. Okay, because this is the front panel, this is the middle of the front panel. So I'm going to connect my lines to this. Since I'm going to use this for other panel, so I'm going to connect the line to it. So what I have to do now is to cut out my front panel. So you can see that this is what you are going to have for the middle panel. By the time I open it, I'm going to have a total of 5 inches. A total of 5 inches, 6 inches plus our sewing allowance. Can you see it? So if you are going to fold, note that for the front panel, you have to fold it and this point should be straight. This is your center line, okay? Your center line should be straight. I hope you can see it. Your center line should be straight. So by the time you open it, it will give you a total of 6 inches. So this is the middle panel. So I'm going to place this middle panel at the back panel. And don't forget that the difference between the middle panel and the middle panel for the back is just the zip allowance. So I'm going to take my 2 inches zip allowance down. So I'll just trace it. Your 2 inches zip allowance down. Your 2 inches zip allowance. Your 2 inches zip allowance. So I'll just trace it. So it's not going to move. So let me indicate where I have my zip allowance. I hope you can see it. It is very easy. So when you are done, you cut it out. So when you've cut it out, you are going to have, this is our middle, this is the panel middle, this is number 1, this is our number 1, don't forget we numbered it, this is our number 2. So difference between the middle for the back and the middle for the front panel is this zip allowance, okay? So you can open it up, you can open this up later before you cut, you can open this up later before you join it together. So the next one is our number 3. The next is our number 3. Now, for you to get your number 3, just fold your fabric into 4. Okay, fold it into 4 because they are all the same. So just fold it into 4. You leave 3 inches. It depends. You could leave 2 inches, you could leave 4 inches. It depends on you. Just leave 3, but I'm going to make use of 3 inches. So from here, I'll mark my waist measurement, which is 8 inches, because this side is where is going to be where I'm going to have my sewing allowance. I will add 1.5 inches. Okay, so from my waist to my hip is 9 inches. So I'll mark my 3 inches down. 3 inches down. So I'll connect the lines together. If you haven't subscribed on my channel yet, kindly do so. So this is what I have. So for the hip, I'm going to mark my hip measurement. This is 6 inches plus 1.5 inches. So I'll connect it together with my armhole curve. Connect it together. Okay, so for my waist to my knee measurement is 17 inches. 17 inches. So let me draw a straight line to indicate that. 17 inches. So for this hip measurement, I have 7.5 inches. So I'm going to bring it down to this point. 7.5 inches. 6 inches. So I'll join the lines together. Now, this is where we have the main work. So you're going to extend, you're going to get your panel. Don't forget that. You're going to get a panel. Now, for this 4-piece, for you to get this curvy shape at the knee point, you are going to take in your measurement at this point. So for you to get this curvy shape at the knee measurement, because the knee is not actually straight, for you to get the curvy shape at the knee, you are going to take in, you could take in 1 inch, you could take in 1.5, 2 inches, it depends on you. So I'm going to take in 1.5 inches, or let me take in just 1 inch. So I'm going to take in 1 inch at this side, and also 1 inch at this side too. So I could have, look at my illustration. You could see that this point comes in. It comes in like this. Okay, so this point is where we are about to get on the paper. So it depends on how many inches you are going to take in from here to here. We'll give you this curve. This curve at the knee. This is our knee, where we have 17 inches. Okay, so it's at this knee point you are going to take in your measurement. So now let's move back to the fabric. So I'm going to take in 1 inch at this side and 1 inch at this other side too. So I'll reconstruct my lines. It's just to give you that curvy shape. Okay, it's just to give you that curvy shape at the knee point. So when you are done with that, you draw the line for your panel. If you haven't subscribed on my channel, please kindly do so. So you construct the lines together. I hope you can see it. So when you want to cut now, this is my new measurement. So I'm going to cut it out like this to give me this shape. So this is my number. Okay, let me cut it out so you could see it clearly. Okay, so when you've cut it out, you are going to have the 4 pieces. Can you see it? So this is 2 pieces for the front panel and 2 pieces for the back panel. So this is what you are going to have. This is what you are going to have now. So let me show you how the front panel is going to look like. These are number 1. So this is the middle for the front panel. So you are going to have this. I hope you can see it. You are going to have this. So these are number 1. These are number 3. And likewise, I'm going to have the same 3 pieces for the back panel. So thanks for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed on my channel yet, kindly do so. Like our video, share, drop your comment, tell us topics you love us to treat, and we are always ready for you. So thanks for watching this video once again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Bye.